Hello everyone, welcome you all in this session. Myself, Assistant Professor Ripa Gupta from LJSL School of Law. Today we are going to discuss on the subject of public interest law aiding. The topic of discussion is protection of fundamental rights through PIL, judicial pronouncement. So here we are going to discuss on the role of judiciary, how they interpret the fundamental rights and the human rights through the PIL. So public interest, public rights, they have been interpreted by the judiciary as the fundamental rights. So how this we're going to just discuss through the judicial pronouncements. So first we are going to discuss on the case of Francis Carroll Mullen case. In this case, Supreme Court discussed about the right to life. They elaborated what is right to life. As we know, in prior to Mohinijan Gandhi case, we have a very narrow interpretation with regards to right to life. But after the Mohinijan Gandhi period, Supreme Court become so much active on this. What is right to life? So in this case, it has been there. The Supreme Court observed that right to life doesn't mean just to have, a very freedom from your life, about your personal life, but it includes many other aspects. Like it arises the question whether the right to life is limited only to protection of a limb or faculty of any person. But it doesn't. It embraces to something more. It says that it's about human dignity. It's about where you are living. We should live with human dignity. For that, we should have basic necessity. That we should have basic necessity, like we have nutritious food, we should have proper shelter, we should have proper, clothing. This will all include on your right to life. So here they discussed about what is right to life. What is human dignity for me? So human dignity for me is to have a basic necessity of the life where I can live my life at least as a dignified manner. So in this case, Supreme Court talks about what is right to life, and it says that even your thought, when you are feeling as a person, if it is damaged by anything, it will also come under the Article 21. So this case is very important with regards to Article 21 interpretation, which opens the gate for Supreme Court to think more on the Article 21, that Article 21 can include many other aspects than only the physical protection. So from that, human right aspect also included over here is that for humans to have nutrition, to humans to have adequate nutrition life, have proper shelter, have proper clothing can also come under Article 21. So a state has to see that they should have proper take care of the dignity of the humans, and it is their duty to provide them. So it is include that the freely moving about, mixing, combining with other fellow beings, this also will come under Article 21. So in this case, Supreme Court very nicely discussed and they opened the gate more wider for the Article 21 interpretation, and they say that it is not only the limb of your personal body or their protection of their body, but it is more than that. It is sometimes also include your mental health, includes your and geographical things where you are living. Your dignity will also come under the Article 21, and from that, it includes many other aspects in Article 21. Like even in today, we can see that Article 21 is still going to be established by the Supreme Court. We can see the right to privacy, the latest judgment. It is also your fundamental right. So this is how they say that what as a human I want to live my life, that can become under right to life. And in today's also in maybe in the future also, Supreme Court can add on the Article 21. Next case is Ola Tilli's case. It is very important for the rehabilitation of the persons who are living in slum areas. So in this case, the issue was whether payment and slum livers could be evicted without being offered alternative accommodation. The contention of the litigants was that they had a right to life, which could not be exercised without a means of livelihood, and there was no option for them but to come to major metropolises and to live there. So anyone cannot choose to live in slums or in a dirty place, but as they come from the very small town or from the village and work in the metropolises, but they do not earn much and they have to live on the footpaths or slum areas. So if for any project government is evicted them from that particular place, it is now their duty to rehabilitate them, to give them alternative resident where they can stay, because of course it is also come under their public rights and of course the duties of the state. So in this case, Supreme Court says that it is the duty of a state to give proper shelter and alternative place for that person who are going to evicted from that residence. So it is comes under their livelihood. Supreme Court says that an important facet of right to life was the right to livelihood, because no person could live without the means of living. To deprive him from the means of livelihood would be denude life and of effective content of meaningful of such. So any deprivation of this such right comes and we are infringing the rights of the person. So here Supreme Court ordered, they say that it is the duty of a state to give alternate residence to the person who are evicted for any project by the government, and if they are not providing it, is you are infringing their right to livelihood. So every person has the right to life, include right to livelihood in this case. The next case is PEODR versus Union of India. In this case, there was the violation of Article 24 in Delhi for, there the children were employed for the construction work which are below the 14 years. So in this case, the complaint filed was against the violation of Article 24 of the Constitution, but court also orders that even it is infringement of Article 21. So because Article 21 also includes human dignity in that, so if we are employing the children in the construction work which is below the 14 years of age, we are also infringing their human dignity. So referring to their earlier precedent about the human dignity, they also combine that precedent over here and says that it's not only the violation of Article 24 of the Constitution of India, but also the violation of Article 21 of the Constitution of India. So because every person has a right to live with basic human dignity, and state could not deprive anyone of this right, because no procedure by which such deprivation may be affected but could cover ever to be regarded as reasonable and fair and just. So this here the court says that you cannot employ any children in the construction work, as well as when you are doing this, it is infringement of their right to life, and the state has to see that and has to establish the procedure by which this right cannot be infringed. Next case is Mohinijan and Unnikrishnan. Here again, Supreme Court said a harmony between the DPSP and fundamental rights, where there is a duty of a state to provide certain, certain aspects of a life to the citizen, but they also come under the purview of Article 21, that is right to life or the fundamental rights. So here, right to education has been elaborated by the Supreme Court as a fundamental right, as a right to live. So it was a duty on the DPS, it was a duty on the state that they have to provide education to the citizen of India. But it has not been provided in the of course in the fundamental rights precisely, but by interpreting Article 21, Supreme Court says that right to education includes right to life. In this case, Supreme Court saw our international covenants where India is a party to civil political rights and economic social cultural rights, where right to education was a duty and also a right of a individual. So here Supreme Court says that it is, as India is a party to covenant and it is a right of the citizens, so state has to give this right to the citizens of India, and through which they made that for in India, right to education is a fundamental right, and for the age of between 16 to 14, it is a free and compulsory education for the children between the age of 16 to 14. So this is how Supreme Court elaborated, the fundamental rights as a human right as a fundamental right, sir. Right to education come under the purview of fundamental rights, and state who are the duty bearer and the DPSP, now they have to perform the duties as a providing you as a right of an individual. So this is how Supreme Court make harmonious construction between the DPSP and the fundamental rights. Now the last case, of course, they are the only important cases, but there are a number of cases where Supreme Court elaborated the human rights into the fundamental rights. In the case of PUC versus Union of India, the court further recognized that government had a positive duty to help prevent nutrition and starvation. So again, right to food come under the purview of right to life, that the state has to take very acute step, very vital step to provide nutrition and a very healthier life for the citizen of India. So you can see the midday meal schemes, or there are a number of nutritious policies and programs carried by the government. Why? Because it is their duty, as well as the human dignity. It is comes under the right to life, that as a human being I should have a certain right to live my life. So livelihood also include the life to have a nutritious full of life. I should have proper food, proper clothing. So again, in this such case, Supreme Court held that to have nutritious life, to avoid starvation, government should take proper steps to for the citizen, that no one should be die because of the starvation. So these are the basic and of course very important case laws where Supreme Court saw interpreting the human rights into fundamental rights and make the state as a duty bearer for providing the rights and perform their duties in the arena of fundamental rights. Thank you.